Have you ever wondered why some women, even in their 60s, still make the whole room turn, while others seem to blend into the gray background of the crowd? It's not because they're dressed extravagantly. It's not because they're trying to get attention. It's because they've chosen the right color. It may seem simple, but the color you wear is the first thing others hear, before words, gestures, or smiles. It's the silent language of emotions, the business card of temperament. And at an age when society's gaze often passes quickly by, choosing the right color is the way to make others stop. See you. Recognize you. This journey is not just a list of colors. It's an emotional map, where each shade is a message, about confidence, gentleness, depth, and joy of life. I'll take you through each color, not just to dress well, but to feel your best self. Let's start with the color of trust, navy blue. 1. Navy blue, confidence comes from silence. There's something that few people say, but almost everyone feels when they turn 60, the world starts to speak to you more quietly. The glances don't last as long as they used to. Small talk becomes shorter. New opportunities, whether friendships, part-time jobs, or just a glance at a coffee shop, seem to slip past you as if you're becoming transparent. But then, one day, you put on a navy blue blazer. And something changes. 1. The color of trust and respect. Navy blue, not too bright, not too flashy, is a color that both science and history agree on. It evokes trust, intelligence, and professionalism. In the Western world, navy blue is a popular color in the uniforms of the Navy, of financial companies, and even in the most important meeting room of the White House. It is a symbol of stability, not as flashy as red, not as cold as black. It tells the person opposite, I am here. I know who I am. And I don't need to shout it. At 60, when you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, but still want to be heard and respected, navy blue becomes your most silent and loyal ally. 2. Carol's story, when a blazer changes the world's perspective. Carol is a 70-year-old woman living in Boston. She has been an elementary school teacher all her life, a gentle, discreet person, always thinking of others first. After retiring, Carol felt that she gradually became invisible among her family, at friends' parties, and even in her own eyes when looking in the mirror. Until one day, she decided to wear a navy blue blazer to her granddaughter's graduation. Not because she wanted to stand out, but because she felt the color made her feel true to herself, mature, confident, and unapologetic for getting older. Carol says that day was one of the most special in her life, not because of the ceremony, but because people saw her differently. Distant relatives came to talk to her for the first time, old friends smiled and said she looked bright and elegant. I don't think a single color can do that, Carol says, but when I saw myself in the mirror, it was like I was myself again, more deeply than ever before. 3. The psychological reasons behind this choice. According to research at Harvard University, 2023, 85% of people's first impressions are influenced by color, and in older people, this number is even higher due to changes in vision and divided attention. Navy blue has the ability to create a prestigious, almost instinctive recognition effect. It makes the other person associate you with traits such as intelligence, trustworthiness, and inner strength, things that many women over 60 have, but are rarely seen by others. 4. Navy blue in everyday life, a way to mix and match that never goes out of style. If you can only choose one navy blue item in your wardrobe, start with a well-fitting blazer. No need for a brand, no need for sparkle, just cut the right shape and fit your current body shape, not your body shape 20 years ago. Paired with a white or light cream shirt, you'll have an overall look so elegant that people will think you've invested a lot. Add a warm silk scarf, Bordeaux red, brick orange, or dark green, and you've got just enough personality and temperament. For more formal occasions, a navy dress with minimalist seams and a string of pearls will bring timeless beauty, the kind of beauty that doesn't need to say anything, but still attracts attention. And don't forget the small but powerful items, a crewneck sweater, cardigan, or navy scarf, simple but sophisticated items for days when you don't want to be fussy but still want to be remembered. 5. The emotions you'll feel when choosing this color. You'll feel seen, not as an old woman standing on the sidelines, but as a woman with presence, value, and temperament. You'll stand up a little straighter without even noticing. You'll smile at others first, instead of waiting for them to smile at you. And you'll realize, no one made you important. You made that choice. And sometimes, a navy blue blazer is the first step to remembering that. 6. Navy blue is more than fashion, it's a state of mind. Wearing navy blue is choosing stability. It's a gentle but clear whisper to the world that you no longer need permission to shine. You are you. And that's enough. If you're looking for yourself again, after a crisis, after a heartbreak, or simply after years of being too busy to care about yourself, try navy blue. As Carol says, I'm not 30 again. I don't want to be. But I'm back to myself, the woman I was, and am still becoming. 2. Soft peach, the color of radiant softness. Here's something interesting that many people don't notice. As we age, the world assumes that we should become less feminine. As if gentleness, softness, and warmth are the prerogatives of youth, and older women should be neutral, proper, and quiet. But if you've ever seen the look in a grandmother's eyes as she holds her grandchild in her arms, or the way an older woman gently folds sheets onto a guest bed, you'll realize this: femininity doesn't fade with age, it just deepens. And no color represents that better than soft peach. 1. The color of gentle dawn. Soft peach doesn't scream for attention. It's not as bright as orange, nor as candy sweet as pink. It's a dreamy shade that's somewhere between warm and elegant, like the morning sun hitting your skin through a window, or a natural blush after a walk in the park. It doesn't try to be youthful, but it makes you look irresistibly bright. It doesn't make you someone else, it helps you return to the softest version of yourself. 2. Why does soft peach communicate so well at 60+? When older women enter social spaces, they often find themselves in two uncomfortable choices: either dress neutrally and blend into the wall, or try to stand out in a way that's not appropriate for their age. But soft peach is neither of those extremes. It's neither forced nor hidden. According to research from the Institute of Applied Color Sciences in the United States, soft peach tones have the ability to reflect soft light onto the face, thereby reducing the feeling of wrinkles, increasing visual harmony, and making the skin brighter, especially for those with neutral or light skin. 3. Linda, the woman who found her femininity after thinking she had lost it. Linda, 68 years old, used to be a serious librarian in Chicago. For nearly 40 years living in rows of books, she wore gray, navy blue and black. Not because she didn't like color, but because she believed that at her age, brilliance was a luxury. Until her daughter gave her a light peach cashmere sweater for her birthday. She reluctantly tried it on, just to please her. But that day, 3 complete strangers at the cafe smiled and complimented her. Looking radiant. A man in his 70s, standing behind her in line at the supermarket, even asked her out for coffee. I never thought a color could make me feel like I had the right to be beautiful, the right to be soft, the right to love life like I did when I was 30, Linda said, still stroking the soft wool on her sleeve. It doesn't make me younger, but it makes me feel like I'm still a woman of value. 4. How soft peach affects emotions, not just yours, but yours. According to the journal Psychology and Aging, 2024, colors influence our social-emotional state. Soft peach is specifically listed in the group of colors that increase feelings of approachability, reduce communication barriers, and create a good first impression. In other words, when you wear peach, people feel more comfortable talking to you. Your face looks more relaxed and approachable in natural light. You are more trustworthy and feel welcome. 5. How to wear soft peach without being cheesy or bland. This is where sophistication comes in. Soft sweater or blouse in light peach. Pair with cream white, light khaki or ash gray pants. Don't add fancy patterns, let the color do the work. Silk or light peach dress, perfect for lunches, small parties, or simply days when you want to look cute. Peach silk scarf, a subtle but effective accent, especially if you're not confident in wearing a bright color. Tip: soft peach pairs well with navy blue, ash gray, ivory cream, or chocolate brown, all basic colors in an adult wardrobe. 6. Peach is about light, not age. It's a common misconception that after a certain age, women have to cool down. But have you ever noticed that women make you look longer, not because they're gorgeous, but because they glow from within? Soft peach does that. It doesn't grab the eye, it draws it in with its softness. It doesn't scream, "Here I am." But it makes others want to come closer to hear you. 7. When you choose peach, you're choosing to be soft, intentionally. Women were once sweet maidens. They were devoted mothers. They were hardworking colleagues. And when they've been through it all, you have the right to turn around and say, now it's time to be gentle with myself. Soft peach isn't just a color. It's a quiet declaration that you've learned the greatest lesson in life. True strength doesn't have to be hard. It can be very light, very soft, very human. 8. How would you feel wearing soft peach? You would smile at yourself in the mirror, not because you were prettier, but because you felt right with yourself. You won't have to do much to be noticed, you'll just be there, and people will naturally gravitate towards you. You'll find yourself worthy of being cherished, first and foremost by yourself. 3. Royal purple, elegance is an attitude. There is a subtle thing that time gives to women after the age of 60, which is the right to be quietly proud. When we are young, we often seek recognition through actions, through achievements, through sacrifices. But at a certain age, when the children have grown up, when the roles that were once attached to us have lessened, you suddenly realize that the most elegance is when there is no need to show off. That is why royal purple, the royal purple, becomes a silent declaration for women entering the golden age of life. No one needs you to shout that you are wise, experienced, and worthy of respect. Purple will say it for you, and do it elegantly. 1. Purple and the nonverbal language of soft power. Royal purple has long been associated with the aristocracy. For centuries, purple has been the color of royalty, not just because of the rarity of the dye, but because of its energy. Not as hot as red, not as cold as blue, purple is the balance between emotion and reason, between liveliness and serenity. When a woman in her 60s chooses purple, she is not trying to look younger. She is choosing to stand tall, without apologizing for having lived long enough to know who she is. 2. Margaret, the purple woman in a white flower wedding. Margaret is a retired nurse in New York. At 72, she has 3 grandchildren and a balcony of lavender on the 9th floor. At her granddaughter's wedding, all the women chose to wear shades of ivory, pale blue, or pink cream. But Margaret chose a deep purple dress in a soft, form-fitting velvet, with a thin silk scarf draped lightly over her shoulders. As she walked down the aisle, no one stopped to look. Not because her dress stood out, but because her presence felt very grounded, very regal, very, I know who I am. For the first time in years, Margaret says, I didn't feel like I was dressing for the occasion, I felt like I was dressing for myself. And the strange thing? Her young granddaughters were asking her where she got her dresses. 3. The psychological power of purple, intelligence, creativity, and serenity. A study published in Color Psychology Review, 2023, found that purple evokes deep emotions related to intelligence, creativity, and depth of soul, especially in older adults. After age 60, people often crave connection, but fear being taken for granted. Purple acts as a visual buffer, it makes others feel the depth of you, even if you haven't said a word. In other words, purple doesn't create distance. Purple creates respect. 4. Royal purple in the wardrobe, it's not always an evening gown. You don't need a party to wear purple. In fact, the quieter the purple, the more beautiful it is. A purple crewneck sweater, paired with ash gray pants, brings an intellectual, artistic, and unconstrained look. A light purple scarf draped over a beige trench coat will make you mysterious and attractive when walking around town. A light lilac silk dress, ideal for a garden brunch or a meeting with old friends. A purple shirt with matte buttons, combined with silver or amethyst earrings, intellectual beauty in everyday life. A little secret, purple combined with silver, metallic gray, or olive green will highlight the noble depth that few colors have. 5. Purple is a gentle affirmation, I don't need to stand out. I am deep enough. If red is a fiery statement, yellow is optimism, then purple is quiet pride. It doesn't need to be proven. It just needs to be present. People often say, the older a woman is, the more difficult colors like purple should be avoided. I'm the opposite, only experienced women can make purple work. Because you don't just wear purple. You embody its spirit. 6. When you wear purple, you change not only the way you look, but also the way you walk. What I often see in women wearing purple is not their appearance, but the way they walk. Confident, slow, not in a hurry to be noticed, nor avoiding anyone's gaze. Purple reminds them, they are not here to be in the background. They are here to be present, and to transmit a light that is not dazzling, but makes others linger. 7. Why royal purple is the color of someone who knows their worth. In a world full of comparisons, older women are often left out of the young, beautiful, trendy vortex. But out there, you have something that younger people don't have, experience. Depth. A look that no longer needs to be fought over. Purple is the perfect representation of that. When you choose purple, you're not looking for admiration, you're choosing to be looked at with respect. 8. The whisper of purple, you don't have to shout to be heard. My favorite quote about purple is from Maya Angelou, the great African-American poet. Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud. Purple is a muted rainbow. It doesn't need the sun. It shows up in the rain. And women over 60 are the same, they don't need too many conditions to shine. Just the right color, the right. 4. Emerald green, when life calls your name. There will be days when you wake up, look in the mirror, and you no longer see the woman you used to know. Your eyes seem sunken. The lines of your lips are not as clear as they used to be. Something is fading, not because time has taken away the light, but because you are slowly turning off the light inside you. 60 is not the end. But it can be a quiet turning point, where many women begin to live gently with themselves, to the point of forgetting what it feels like to be full of life. And then, one day, you see the color emerald green. Not in an evening gown or on a runway. It's simply a light jacket hanging in a store, or a scarf that happens to appear in an online window. And you feel a pang in your heart, as if your body, after all these years of patience, suddenly says, I miss being alive. I want to be alive again. 1. Emerald green, not for the weak. Unlike soft pastels or luxurious muted tones, emerald green is a bold, vibrant, and powerful shade. It doesn't make you look young in a cliched way. Instead, it awakens a vibrant part of you that may have been dormant due to roles, responsibilities, and the passing years. Emerald green represents rebirth, life, and a hopeful spirit. It's no surprise that in color psychology, this is the color with the highest healing energy, especially for women in the psychological transition stage. 2. Susan, the story of a woman who forgot she used to like shiny. Susan, 65, was a high school principal in Portland. She said that for 30 years, her wardrobe was all black, gray, brown, and navy. Safe colors, she says, because I don't want to be noticed. I have enough stress. But after retiring, Susan accidentally bought a thin emerald green coat, just because it was on sale. She wore it to the weekend farmer's market. That day, a man selling tomatoes complimented her, "You look like a green branch in the autumn forest." She laughed. It had been a long time since she had laughed at a compliment about herself. Not about her job. Not about her children. Not about her wonderful grandmother. But because she, a woman named Susan, could still bring a sense of freshness, despite her gray hair. 3. The color of life, growth, and positive energy. According to research from the Psychological Bulletin of Color Perception, 2024, green, especially deep emerald, triggers feelings of freshness in the neural regions associated with positive emotions and safe memories. This effect is significantly stronger in people over 55, when the brain becomes more sensitive to healing and empowering signals. In other words, when you wear emerald green, not only do others see you as full of life, you feel it too. 4. How to wear emerald green correctly, and not too bright. Emerald green doesn't require you to overdo it. Just a small detail can make a difference. Emerald green sweater or shirt, pair with off-white or light khaki pants, simple but bright. Emerald green scarf, perfect for chilly days, especially when paired with a light brown or beige trench coat. Emerald green handbag, doll shoes, or small accessories, subtle accents, not too much. You can also try an emerald green jacket, blazer or coat, which is perfect for a walk, a weekend coffee, or even an alumni reunion. Note, emerald green goes well with white, cream, navy, ash gray and bronze. Let it be the grass growing from neutrals, and you will always stand out in a classy way. 5. Emerald doesn't rejuvenate, it revives. There is a big difference between looking younger and feeling more alive. Looking younger is a trap that modern media often sets for older women. They make you believe that you are only valuable if you look like a 30-year-old version of yourself. Emerald green, on the other hand, whispers something else. You don't need to go back. You need to move forward, with all the life in you. Wearing this green, you are not saying, "Look at me, I'm still young." You say, "I am alive. I am vibrant. And I am still me." 6. When vitality is a choice, not a privilege of youth. Many people think that vitality belongs only to youth. But actually, vitality is a decision. A daily choice. And sometimes, color is how we make that decision without saying anything. Emerald green is a small declaration that today, you choose freshness over tiredness, brilliance over staleness, and joy over patience. 7. Touch of green moments in real life. When you walk into a cafe, wearing a green sweater, and the waitress looks at you and smiles, this color makes you look so alive. When you stand in the middle of the park, the soft sunlight shines on the green scarf you are wearing, and a jogger stops to ask, "Where did you get that?" When you look at yourself and look in the mirror and think, "I don't need to look the same. I just need to be right today." 8. Susan was right, I don't just wear a shirt. I wear my energy. And sometimes, that's all you need to change everything. 5. Classic red. Red is a declaration of a strong inner self. There are colors that come to you like a whisper. Like a gentle touch on the shoulder, a touch of the eye, a reminder, you are still here. You are still alive. It is the color of navy, peach, purple or emerald green. But then there is a color that does not whisper. It does not remind. It declares. Strong, decisive, no beating around the bush. Red. Classic red does not need permission to be present. It comes like a fire in a dark room. Like a drumbeat in the middle of a quiet party. And for a woman over 60, red is not just a color, it is a declaration of survival. I am here. I am strong. And I do not apologize for that. 1. Red is not for the hesitant. No color challenges the wearer as much as red. Because it cannot be ignored. Wearing red means accepting that you will be seen. And for women at an age when the world is used to seeing through them, being seen is a bold move. Not everyone is ready for red, and that's why when you are, you're not the same. 2. Patricia, when red stops the wedding for a second. Patricia is a 69-year-old retired attorney living in Atlanta. Throughout her career, she wore gray, navy, and black suits, so as not to draw unnecessary attention. But at her nephew's wedding, when she tried on a fitted, long-sleeved red dress, she felt strange. It didn't make me feel young again, she says. It reminded me of how I used to feel energized, proud of my presence, walking into a room and knowing I was alive. Patricia wore that red dress. And at the wedding reception, a guest came up to her and said, "I don't know who you are, but you look like you belong in the center of everything." She smiled. Not because it was a compliment. Because she knew it was true. 3. The neurological effects of red: powerful, vibrant, and powerful. In Color Psychology and Human Emotion, 2023, neuroscientists at Stanford showed that red activates the brain region associated with attention, presence, and strong emotional responses. In people over 60, this effect was increased by nearly 37% compared to younger people, the reason being that older people have fewer visual distractions, so their response to red is stronger and more pronounced. Red doesn't just get people's attention. It makes you feel present. And for a woman who has sacrificed so much so that others can step up, that's an irreplaceable gift. 4. How to wear red correctly, and not overdo it. Red doesn't have to be the whole outfit. Just the right spot, at the right time, it will make you shine. A red dress that fits well, long sleeves, and is made of matte fabric, cotton or matte silk, powerful yet elegant. A red shirt with cream or light gray pants, a bold choice for a date, coffee date, or group meeting. A red scarf, lipstick, or handbag. If you're not used to wearing big red, start with small red. A highlight, an exclamation point for personality. Note, red pairs beautifully with pale yellow, white, black, navy, and camel. Avoid neon or contrasting colors, let red be the centerpiece. 5. How you feel when you wear red, and what others don't dare say. Red brings out an almost wild feeling. Not in the sense of out of control, but in the sense of letting go. Let go of shyness. Remove the belief that you should shrink. Remove the standard that older women should be demure, dull, and soft. Red says, I can be soft, but I can also be explosive. And both versions are me. 6. When sexy is no longer something for others to define for you. 6. Rich Burgundy, the secret of the quiet woman. Not all strong women speak loudly. Not all confident women shine brightly. There are those who have a gentle presence like a light shining through a thin curtain. You don't see them clearly right away, but the feeling of warmth, security, and respect for them is there from the beginning. And when that woman chooses a color to express herself, she will not choose red, not need bright yellow or energetic green. She will choose rich burgundy, a deep wine color, luxurious and mysterious, just like herself. 1. Burgundy, the color of depth and inner control. Unlike other shades that attract because of their brightness, burgundy attracts because of its depth. Not as dark as brown, not as bright as red, not as feminine as pink, burgundy is a blend of self-control and emotion, of power and calm. It is the color of a woman who does not need to do much, but still makes others want to be around. 2. Janet, architect of silence and taste. Janet, 71, is a retired architect in Denver. She has designed large projects, but never felt like she belonged on stage. I like to stand behind the drawing board, she says, to see people living in the spaces I create, but no one knows me. And then last winter, she bought a burgundy wool coat. Not to attract attention, but because the color makes her feel like she is wearing her own soul, quiet, warm, and secure. The first time she wore it out, at a Christmas fair, a strange little girl stopped and said, "You look like a character in a fairy tale. Are you a secret keeper?" Janet laughed. And realized, maybe she was right. 3. To burgundy and the psychological impact of deep neutrals. Research in the Journal of Mature Style and Perception, 2024, showed that burgundy, classified as a deep neutral, brings a sense of security, trust, and powerful stillness in the eyes of the other person. In older people, especially women, burgundy makes them feel experienced, profound, and worth listening to. And especially, this color also stimulates the brain to secrete mild oxytocin, a hormone associated with feelings of friendliness and closeness. 4. How to wear burgundy, sophisticated and effortless. Burgundy is an ideal color for fall and winter, but if you know how, it can be worn all year round. Must-have items. Burgundy solid, knee-length wool coat, paired with a beige or white scarf. Burgundy cashmere sweater, simple, elegant, paired with ash, ivory, or navy trousers. Burgundy midi dress in translucent silk or tweed, ideal for formal events. Burgundy scarves, handbags or leather shoes, elegant accents for any occasion. Burgundy goes best with light gray, gold, cream, navy, or olive green. Avoid neon colors or pastel pinks, they will ruin the precious calmness of burgundy. 5. Burgundy is the nonverbal language of the woman who gets it. There comes a time in a woman's life when all explanations are unnecessary. No need to say how hard I've worked. No need to tell how I've loved, hurt, sacrificed. 7. Sunny yellow, shine from within. There are days when the dark clouds in your heart do not come from the sky. They come from the eyes of others, or worse, from the way you look at yourself. After the age of 60, many women no longer feel like they are the center of anything. No more admiring glances. No more, you are so radiant. It seems like the whole world is moving aside, and leaving you standing in a soft, sad shadow. And then, there is a color that appears, not to bring you back to the center, but to light up where you are. Yellow. Not sparkling gold or bustling neon yellow. But sunny yellow, warm sunny yellow. The color of life. The color of hope. The color of unconditional joy. 1. Sunny yellow, the color of those who do not wait to be loved to shine. Not everyone dares to wear yellow. Because wearing yellow is conspicuous. And when you no longer feel worthy of attention, you play it safe. But women who shine after 60 don't shine because they try. They shine because they've stopped asking for permission. Sunny yellow doesn't ask if you're fresh enough to wear it. It just says, if you wear me, I'll reflect the joy that's inside you. 2. Dorothy, the woman who brought sunshine to the garden party. Dorothy, 67, is a retired teacher in Austin, Texas. She's worn gray, beige, and the occasional navy all her life, exactly what most women think is safe at that age. One summer day, her granddaughter invited her to a picnic. She picked out a pale yellow shirt at random, bought it on sale, and almost forgot about it. I thought it would be a bit too much, but it was a beautiful sunny day, so I thought, why not? At the party, people kept complimenting her, you look radiant, that yellow shirt suits you, you're like sunshine. And the important thing is? Dorothy started to believe it. She went home and hung the shirt on a separate hanger. Not because it was expensive, but because it reminded her, she was still the sunshine, if she chose to wear it. 3. The psychological impact of yellow, healing and activating positive emotions. A study at the Harvard School of Aging Psychology, 2024, showed that yellow, especially sunny yellow, activates the brain region associated with joy, positive recall, and social energy. 8. Pure ivory, timeless elegance. There are colors that ring like bells in the middle of a busy day. Not loud, not bright, not competing for attention, but you can't help but stop. Ivory is such a color. Not the pure white of a wedding dress or blouse. But a white with depth, warmth, a little pale yellow, a little cream, like the color of early morning light reflecting off an old linen in a wooden room. And for women over 60, ivory is more than just a color, it is a vital statement of mature elegance, that you don't need to stand out to be remembered. 1. Ivory is the color of understated grace. In today's noisy world, where everyone is trying to stand out, ivory is the choice of women who do not need to assert anything, because the way they appear is the answer. Ivory does not create the feeling of trying to be beautiful. It is a natural elegance, like the demeanor of someone who has lived a lot, felt a lot, and now chooses only what is truly valuable. 2. Elizabeth, the professor who does not wear makeup, but everyone looks up. Elizabeth, 74, is a retired literature professor in New York. At a community awards gala, she chose to wear an ivory suit in thick fabric, a high-necked shirt, her hair neatly tied up, no lipstick, and only small pearl earrings. When she walked in, everyone looked back. Not because of the outfit, but because there was something about her that made others automatically respect her. I don't want to look younger than I am. I want to look like myself, but the most refined version, she says. Ivory gives me that. It softens the harshness of the light. It's like a silk wrap around my experience, and turns it into beauty. 3. The impact of ivory on social perception. Whether you choose navy to show your steadfastness, peach to be softer with yourself, royal purple to remember the nobility that has never been lost, or sunny yellow to allow yourself to be happy, what you are doing is not just choosing a color. You are choosing to live proactively. And that, at any age, is the most brilliant statement. You don't need to wear all 8 of these colors. But if just one of them touches your heart, makes you want to try something new, want to step out with brighter eyes, a more genuine smile, then you have started a new chapter. Not the chapter of youth, but the chapter of a full life. If there is a moment in this journey that makes you smile, makes you pause and whisper, "That's me," leave a 1 in the comment. If you are still thinking, not sure what you will change today, type 0, so I know you are still here, still with us on this journey. No need to write long. Just a way for you to mark that you have listened, touched something. And if you want to continue to explore stories, applied scientific knowledge, everyday sharing to help you live better, more true to yourself, at any age, click the subscribe button, bell and turn on the notification bell. Because this journey is not over yet. The most brilliant part of you may still be ahead.